What is up, guys? I am Get Flanked, and we all have a bunch of questions regarding Blood Orchid, and I'm joined today by KiXSTAr. He spent the last weekend playing and talking about Blood Orchid, and he's going to answer our questions about it today. So thanks a lot for joining me, KiXSTAr. How's it going today, bro?
It's going well. Looking forward to getting rid of some misconceptions as well as just like ironing out like my opinions on the new patch.
Well, thanks for taking the time to sit down with me, man. I know that myself, as well as the viewers and just everybody out there, has a lot of questions on what we've seen so far. So it's awesome to get a perspective from you who, got hands-on with it over the weekend and can answer a lot of these questions that we have. So first things first, I want to jump straight into the recent news that we got about them removing some maps from both casual and making the ranked maps the match the Pro League maps. Everybody in the community's got a big uproar about that. I know that you are tracking that and you want to talk about that. So what are your thoughts there on the map removal?
So for the ranked side of things, for like limiting the ranked pool to the Pro League maps, that to me is probably one of the best changes they're making in this update. It's going to make playing ranked actually like justifiable. Like in my mind, I'm going to go like, oh yeah, I can go play ranked because I don't have to worry about getting Barlet. I don't have to worry about getting House. I don't have to worry about getting all these maps that aren't inside of, they aren't fun to play in the current meta and where we stand. And I think that's exciting. As for the casual update, like removing Yacht, I believe it was, and Favela from the casual pool, I understand why people are angry about that. I get it. But it's not because they're just like, hey, let's gut our game. It's because, hey, these two maps have technical issues that need to be resolved, so we're going to go take the time to resolve them. Now, I personally am a huge proponent of both of these changes. The casual one, I understand why people would say, oh, why not just leave them in and then fix them and then update them, right? Like, why not? But at the same time, if they see they have a technical issue with the map and they really want to fix it, they don't want to leave it in to be abused or whatever the issue is, I don't know what it is, then that's on them. That's Ubisoft's decision. And another thing I want to take away from this is these maps being altered, among other changes, is Ubisoft showing us that they're finally not afraid to make drastic changes to their game in order to put it in a place where it's actually fun to play. Because in the past, one of the greatest issues that Ubisoft has faced with, we need this, we need that, can you please fix these problems, is they just haven't had the cojones to go, hey, we're gonna make that happen. Instead, sometimes they let problems linger, and I like that they're not doing that here.
So when you say like major changes, are you saying like basically they knew that this was going to cause an uproar, but they also know that it's good for the long-term health of the game, and they did it anyway? Is that what you're saying there?
That's pretty much what I'm saying, yeah. And another thing, on the note of the uproar, I am fairly certain once people start to get to actually playing this update, once they get their hands on this new map pool and all the new content that's surrounding it, I am all but positive people are going to be like, oh my god, this is amazing. They will fully embrace it. I do believe that because having the chance to actually play it myself, like, yeah, no, this update is amazing. And the new map pool is definitely something that we actually wanted for a long time. The majority of players who are like actually dedicated in terms of their life to this game. Now, I have had a lot of people on that note of the maps, like when I present the argument, yes, the Pro League map pool replicator put into ranked is good. Like when I say that, I have a lot of people come up to me and they'll say, well, yeah, of course you would think that you're a pro player. Well, first of all, no, I'm not. Not anymore. I haven't been for a while. But second of all, it's not that I'm a pro player. It's that I'm a player who is dedicated pretty much his entire life to Siege. Everything I do is Siege. I live and breathe it. And recently that hasn't been the case. Recently I've been taking a little bit of a hiatus, and that's mostly due to the current state of the game. But after this update comes out, that's going to change quite a lot for me personally. And more importantly, the ranked map pool is one of the leading factors in that decision-making process for me. The ranked map pool reflecting Pro League map pool is one of the main reasons I will be starting to play this game again regularly. And for that reason, I'm very excited for it.
So what do you say? I mean, you mentioned that you can kind of understand where some people are coming from who might be against this, but what do you say to the guy who plays ranked but doesn't take this game seriously, just plays the game very casually, but enjoys the game in ranked more, especially considering
Yeah.
that the theme park map, the new map, isn't going to be in ranked. What do you say to that person?
So to that person, I say there's nothing wrong with casual. There's a stigma surrounding casual right now. And the reason that that stigma exists is because there's no major difference between casual and ranked apart from, well, hey, you guessed it, the ranked, right? So people who play casual are just, they're just saying, oh, you're just a casual player, you don't mean anything, blah, 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 blah. And that stigma exists. But once this new map pool, comes into being, that stigma I feel like will kind of fade away a little bit. I think it'll be more like, hey, I'm gonna go play casual because I just want to play whatever map. I don't really care which map it is, apart from yacht and favelas, of course. And like even I sometimes I'm gonna have that. Sometimes I'm gonna be like, you know what, I want to play the new map, or I really want to play house for whatever reason. I will have those situations, and a lot of other people will too. And as a result, the stigma associated with casual will just dissipate. And I think that's actually really good. I think that distinction is good for the game in terms of health, and will mean that there's less people saying, "Oh, you're just a casual player,"
Yeah, yeah. I think the major concern that I have looking at this is how are we going to get that new map into the ranked playlist,
Yeah.
into the pro discussion? Because if it's not in ranked, how is that map going to develop and get strats built for it? Because I feel like that's
Well, if I can be just to cut you off there, if I could be honest with you, let's talk about Skyscraper for a second, okay?
okay.
Skyscraper is a map like when they introduced it, it went right into the ranked map pool, and I tell you what, that doesn't change anything. The reason Skyscraper, for example, on North America was adopted much earlier is because on North America we put it into 10-mans. We scrimmed it a lot. We did dry runs. There were people who actually were invested in learning about Skyscraper because they liked the map, and it doesn't take much time to learn to like it. And on the note of the professional stuff, like pro teams, when a DLC map comes out, whether or not they choose to invest in that map, everybody on pro teams actually goes onto a custom map and they test out said map. They're like, okay, what is the deal here? What has this map got? It doesn't really have much to do with the ranked map pool. I have to be honest here. But I do think it would be better to put the new map into the ranked map pool. I agree that would be an improvement. But overall, I'm so happy with like what we're doing, like what they're doing right now with the map pool. I really don't mind.
Okay. I think this topic kind of illustrates what I've been seeing in the community over the last couple of weeks when we're talking about changes to the game. And just at every corner, you seem to it seems like there's two sides of the game. You've got the casual player and the competitive player, and they're kind of butting heads for what is important to each of those players. And I think that a casual player looks at this and they look at themselves like losing maps, and they take it like it's a terrible
Right.
thing. But my question to them, and I wonder if you thought about this as well. I mean, this is a long-term game. So a couple years down the road, they're going to have more maps than they can put into a game, or else you would play like this. You wouldn't play the same map twice in a week. So eventually this was going to happen. And I think that the result of this, and what I would say to the casual guy, is you're going to have more balanced maps because of them doing this. And it was going to happen eventually. So be happy. I think this is a good change. Do you agree with that?
Well, so on yeah, say if you're a casual player, then play casual, and then to what about favela and yacht? Those were removed for technical reasons. Like to me, it's a really simple answer to their question. Like if you're a casual player, then that you're not losing anything here. Not really. I really can't say that there's much to be like. There isn't much to be said there. It's for me.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty simple.
Well, did you get any kind of insight at all about what was wrong with favela or yacht, or why those were the two that they decided to completely remove?
No, I didn't actually inquire as to the technical dilemma between those maps, but I'm sure there's something actually worth removing them.
Okay. Moving on to the operators, you got hands on with those over the weekend at Gamescom. What's your overall thoughts there with the three new operators we're gonna get?
So in terms of how they're going to impact the meta, I can't really say like immediately. I can't be like, oh, here's how what they're gonna do because we've a lot of people, professional or otherwise, have tried to predict how operators would impact the meta in the past, and usually it doesn't go quite the way those predictions actually hit. It doesn't. You can never really hit home with that. There's
Yeah,
so many variables.
sure.
But in terms of the operators and how they are as operators, I would say Ella's amazing. I would say like her concussion mines are super useful. Her weapon is whoa, like crazy good. Her pistol's also crazy good. Like overall Ella's an all around great operator, and I think probably I'll be maining her when she comes out. The other defense dude is also amazing. He can have up to 7 of his toxic mines, which is crazy. They just
Yeah.
regenerate. Like you just throw them down at the start of the round, and you keep throwing them down through the whole round. He's insane. Um, and then the attacker. So the attacker is really good. Like no, you can't take away from the how good the attacker is. The weapons are great. The ability is great. 2 speed, what's not to love, right?
Sure.
But I don't think it's gonna have as much. He's gonna have as much of an impact on the meta as the 2 defenders. I think the 2 defenders are gonna see a lot more play. I don't know who's gonna like because here's the thing. You're gonna have a lot of pros who are gonna want to play Ella because of the 3 speed and because of the weapons and because it's basically like Ash on defense, right? You're gonna have a lot of pros wanting to play her like that. She also has concussive mines, and those are useful, but I think the toxic mines from the other guy way more useful in the long run, considering you can have 7 of them, and like in general, they just do more, you know.
Sure.
So I think the toxic dude's gonna get it brought into the meta. Ella probably will be forced into the meta because it's like Ash. You know, Ash is kind of useful, but overall she's played because people love playing Ash. It's because she's so good at winning fights. She's such a good
Sure.
entry fragger, you know. And then the flashbang dude, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I think absolutely there's potential for that, and his ability is super useful, especially considering he can't flash himself. But still, it's still a big question mark.
Now, you mentioned Ella being really strong there and her
Yeah.
gadget being useful. I've heard a lot of people comparing her gadget and how you use it to smoke. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, pretty much. She's like smoke 3 speed with a vector that has 50 bullets.
That sounds crazy. All right, but
Yeah, I
it's
think I'm gonna be honest, I really, really think like as a person who wants to play Ella and like as a person who's probably going to main Ella when she comes out, I really, 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 really want them to nerf her capacity from 55 bullets to like 30. Like that would be good for me because it's just disorienting sometimes having that many bullets, and more importantly, she really does not need it, especially considering she has probably the best pistol in the game by virtue alone of the scope. Which, by the way, having gotten to use Ella's pistol scope for a couple, like for a good while, like that scope is the best scope in the game, I think. Like it is
wow.
so clean. Like there's no obstruction of visual anything. Like it's like what's it called? The Cobra? No. It's the Coyote. The Coyote from Battlefield,
Sure,
basically.
sure.
So like you have all of the visibility.
That's awesome. Why do you think they just gave it to her and like one operator with a a sight on their pistol? I don't
I'm
it,
honestly not really sure why she alone gets that scope. And if I'm being blunt, if they could put that scope onto every gun in the game, I would be so happy. Like I had a couple situations when I was doing the show match. I had a couple situations where I was playing with her pistol, not her primary, because I just wanted to use that scope. It's so good. It's a tiny little red dot, and unlike the red dot that we have right now, it doesn't like waver. Like there's no effects like at least for as far as I could tell. I had my graphics on low, but it's like it's not like shiny and stuff. You know, it's just a tiny little static red dot, really small. It has a little encasing that doesn't obscure your vision at all, and it's mounted on a pistol. Like you can see everything while you're using it. It is beautiful, to be honest. So yeah, because of the quality of her pistol, she really doesn't need 55 bullets in her
Wow.
primary. Seems like overkill to me.
Her mines, they go off proximity, correct? So explain to me,
Correct.
like whenever I think of using smoke, like if I feel like somebody's pushing this door, I'll throw a smoke over there and try and delay them,
Right.
block them. If I did that with her, wouldn't they see, hear, be able to shoot it? Like what? I'm not picturing how that's going to be as powerful as smoke, personally.
It's not as powerful as smoke. I would say smoke grenades are 100% more useful. However, you're gonna use them in the same format as a smoke grenade. Like you can put them above doorways or around corners that are probably gonna be encroached upon by the enemy. But to be honest, you really just want to throw them at the enemy. That's what
Oh,
your goal
okay.
should be.
Okay.
Like they're way more useful if you just hold on to them and use them to win fights. And yeah, the enemy can shoot them, but the thing is, like they activate really fast. Like you throw them, they hit a wall, and like less than a second later, they're already activated. So it might be like exactly a second. I'm not sure, but yeah, basically just use them to win fights. The same that you instead of using them to like completely deny an area. But you can do both, you know?
Okay. Thanks for that. That's an awesome explanation there. I'm picturing it much clearer now as far as how it's actually going to work and be played.
It's like a
Um,
grenade, you know?
okay. As far as Ying, who is the attacking operator with the cluster flash grenade, I've heard some people say that maybe how she could affect it is you might see some like really coordinated pushes. Like maybe you've
Oh
got a
yeah.
hatch and a door open, you roll that in, and then you're like you as a team, as an attacking team, is kind of like 3, 2, 1, go, and that sounds kind of cool to me. But to me, it sounds like her gadget is going to take a lot of time to learn and be able to control and get the timing down. Did you mess with it much at all?
So I didn't get a chance to go into a custom game, and I really want to go into a custom game with all of these operators and see like some details surrounding them and how coordination, like you said, could be implemented for them. But I think you're absolutely, yeah, I think that it's probably going to be something along those lines. Thing is, though, that's the concept of fuse in a sense. The difference is, of course, that you're dealing with killing and not killing, but or non-lethal and lethal. But the thing is, the flashbangs are still going to flash your teammates. You
Right.
know, like the only way you're gonna be the coordination aspect is going to be in a solo, department. Like she's like Fuse, but if Fuse could not be killed by his charges, essentially, and you have to kill the people yourself, but they're disoriented. I don't know. I think yeah, she's going to have some coordination, but it's all gonna be her.
Okay.
Like you can't have your teammates walk into your flashbangs. That doesn't work.
One of the big things that jumps out to me with Lesion is that he gains his mines over time.
Yeah,
So to me, it
huge.
sounds like they are rewarding conservative play with him. Do you think that's kind of a
Conservative play? No, throw them everywhere.
I guess what I mean by that is like you don't want to be necessarily putting yourself at risk very early in the round with him because then you're not
Oh
you
yeah,
don't have your
okay,
full potential for what you're
yeah.
going to get with him. Do you think that's a
So
possible?
Echo.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you think that's kind of similar to how people play Echo now is you want to
Yeah.
keep this guy alive to the very end. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant like conservative is in the ability, because no, like the ability is literally just constantly be throwing your mines. You can like at least on the build that we had at LAN, I'm pretty sure you could throw 7 at a time. So that it's just
Seven
just
at a
litter
time.
7 at a time. You
Holy
could have 7
cow.
down at a time. So just litter them everywhere, basically. And I don't know if that's gonna be on the live build, to be honest, because that seems a little ridiculous to me.
I mean,
But
imagine making like your late push to the objective. There's 15 seconds left, and you have 7 of those.
yeah, just waiting for you to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are pretty insane.
Hmm.
But yeah, like yeah, be liberal with the minds, conservative with yourself, I guess.
Okay. Is it safe to say that the Scorpion that Ella has is the best gun amongst the 3 of them that you tried out?
Ooh, no, I don't know about that. The rifle and the attacker and the both of the SMGs are extremely good. They're all good. I also didn't get to test the shotguns, but they seemed very powerful as well. I wouldn't say any, like, they're all good guns. All of the guns that are coming,
One of
quality.
them has a silenced shotgun. Um,
Yeah, I didn't
what
get to test that out, but it looks pretty awesome.
what is the point of a silent shotgun? I mean, here's what I'm thinking. If you're
Uh-huh.
using a shotgun, you're really close to somebody, so they're going to know where you are. What's the deal with the suppressor? Why would you
I
want that on a
have
shotgun?
not a clue. I think they were probably just trying to differentiate it from
Okay.
the other, from the attacker who has the same shotgun.
Do you think these operators are a clear sign that Ubisoft is trying to slow this game down? Is that how you take this?
Uh, kind of. I'm not really sure. I'd say yeah. Overall, from what we've seen here, they're maybe trying to slow it down. But the thing is, that they also sped it up with the removal of the ACOGs, which, that's going to very, very much speed up the meta. And then the flashbang operator, he's not helping it slow down at all. That guy's like the attacker. He's
Yeah,
he's making it go way faster. I don't. The two mine operators like Ella's a 3 speed, so that's inherently fast.
sure.
The concussive mines are less of a hey, let's slow everything down, and more of a hey, let me help, like let me give myself an assist to win this fight. So that's also speeding things up. The only slowdown factor I see here are the toxic mines. That's it. That's like exclusively it. Other than that, it all seems like it's going in the other direction for me, very much faster.
Okay. Um, you mentioned the
Although,
A.
although one thing, the two defenders both have barbed wire, so that
Oh,
is,
okay.
I guess, in a sense, slower.
Okay. You mentioned the ACOGs there briefly and how that could speed up the game in your opinion. Last time I talked to you on the Pro and Potato, you gave your opinion on it, but at this point we now know for sure that Bandit and Jaeger
Yeah.
are losing the ACOGs. What are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are people are going to over dramatize it. Like you're gonna have a lot of guys on Reddit like, guys, they're removing the ACOGs the same way that we have people talking about like the maps right now. But once they actually get their hands on it, I think that they're really not gonna mind. And the main thing here is, yeah, they're removing the ACOGs from Jaeger and Bandit. Oh no! And you know what else they're doing at the same time? They're fixing the lighting. So a lot of the reason people use ACOG right now, and this isn't the only reason, but a lot of the reason that people use ACOG right now is because the lighting is so garbage. In the current state of the game, the lighting is complete trash. And this new lighting system they're implementing is like a godsend. The two things that I am most excited about this new patch is the lighting, number one, and number two, the map pool. That's it. Like those two things alone are gonna bring me back into playing this game on a regular basis.
Wow.
So the removal of those ACOGs, I think people it'll be kind of like overshadowed by how much improvement there is to the game.
Well, I mean, talking about overshadowed there, I mean, obviously, when you get new content, it seems like everybody talks about the operators, the maps. But I mean, you
Yeah.
just said right there that the thing that you're looking forward to the most is the lighting changes and the map removal. So, and I've heard actually, you're not the only person I've heard say that. I've heard so many people. I think, talking to Pojo Man who had played the lighting changes, a lot of people I've heard say that the lighting changes are going to have the biggest impact on this game more than the
Oh,
operators and
absolutely.
and everything else. So you mentioned that ACOG versus like a hollow or a reflex has an effect with the lighting changes. Can you explain that more? Like, what do you mean by that? What's the difference in the lighting changes between me using a ACOG and not?
Yeah. All right. So right now with the current lighting, like if you're a savvy Siege player, you don't have to be a pro to know this. There are a lot of situations where you're gonna be ADS'd on a room. Like, let's talk about server room inside border for a second. There's gonna be a lot of situations where you've got your reflex on, you're an attacker, you've just opened up the bathroom wall into server in border, and you're ready to attack into the site. You're fully ADS'd, staring into server room, and then someone kills you from the shadows that you cannot see at fucking all. Whereas if you had an ACOG, you would have had enough magnification to at least barely see the outline of that person and shoot them first. So with the new lighting system, that doesn't happen anymore. That's basically done. The new lighting system makes it so you can always make out the enemy from the environment, at least from my experience. And I mostly played on the new map. And here's the thing about that. People are going to be like, well, you didn't get to try it out in server room of border. The thing is that, and this is really weird, with the new lighting system, the new map that's coming out, even in daytime, is actually noticeably darker than any other map I've ever played. Like it's like border ventilation or border ventilation server, but all the time, everywhere.
Wow.
At the same time, I can still like clearly make out the enemy. Like even though it's noticeably darker than every other map I've ever played, I can still see everyone constantly. And this is on day. Like I mean, it's really weird because I'm expecting to have the same problem that I have with the current patch, where it's like, oh no, it's super dark and someone's hiding in the fucking shadows. I can't see a damn thing. But no, I always have complete visibility, and that's awesome. They didn't sacrifice darkness or light. They just they just made it so you can always see people.
Okay, so whenever I heard about lighting changes, what jumped out to me is the obvious example of like looking from inside to outside. But you were talking
Right.
about actually completely inside of a building. It's improved vastly, just like in that situation
Well,
as well.
in every aspect. So the main like driving force behind the lighting change, like the main thing to remember, and this is a statement that is preliminary because I've only gotten to test it out on some maps, like a little bit, right? I still have yet
Sure.
to go everywhere. But from what I've seen, the main thing to remember about this lighting is that you can always make out the enemy from the environment. That's the main thing. Like
Okay.
always. 24/7. Like I haven't had a situation yet where it's like, "Oh no, I can't see that guy because he's hiding in a shadow or because he's standing outside and it's just blindingly light." So, like that's the main concept.
That's such a huge change. I mean,
Oh, fuck yeah.
when you think about it, like that's actually crazy, and
Do
it
you have
honestly makes me look.
any idea how many fucking people just get kills from hiding in a like shitty little shadow or challenging from a place where there's like just too much light, nobody can see them?
I'm sure there's a lot who have learned those spots, man.
Yep.
It's actually probably part of the meta at this point. So,
It is.
because
It's
that
very
goodbye.
much part of the meta. You know how much better ranked is going to be once this lighting change gets introduced? Like right now, you have a lot of people in ranked who have no discernible skill whatsoever. They're at diamond though, and you know how they got in diamond? They're using shitty angles with ACOG, and they're hiding in shadows, and they're just doing the gay shit that makes people not want to play this game. And that's all. Like basically, that's getting cut way the fuck down.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's awesome to hear, man. I mean, back to the ACOGs and that topic a little bit here. Who do you think that's going to affect more, Bandit or Jaeger? Do you think it's going to differentiate one of those more than the other?
Uh, Not really. I mean, they're both kind of the same. Yeah, there's this weird association with spawn peeking and Jaeger. I have no idea where that came from. Like Jaeger's not even like Jaeger's probably one of the worst operators to spawn peek with. Like the best operator to spawn peek with, and I was actually talking with a couple other people about this at LAN, is like hands down Rook, 100% Rook. Like, and the reason that he's the best operator to spawn peek with is like you get his utility down in like a second and you're done, and then you can go spawn peek. Jaeger usually takes a good while to set himself up properly with the barbed wire reinforcements and Jaeger devices. You're not going to be on a window like immediately. Like you won't be able unless you just dumped all of your utility, right? Unless you're just like not really thinking about your team. And more importantly, like Rook's gun has less recoil. The shot reset is much faster. Like there's no I don't really see anything that makes Jaeger a better spawn peeker at all. Like some people argue, well, the speed, so you can do those crazy run out spawn peaks and try to trap them. It's like no, not really, no, because I'll be honest, like yeah, Rook's just a better spawn peaker. Like I don't really get that association.
And
And on that note, Bandit is kind of on the same level in terms of like the ACOG thing is the same.
I think that's a good point. And I think what people are talking about there with the runouts, that kind of plays into the point. Like if people are running out of the map in the early round, in the early part of the round at the higher levels, they're going to get killed 90% of the time. So the
Yeah.
runouts are even more or even less frequent than the spawn peaks.
So I had
So
Yeah, I think on our last interview, someone I had a lot of people saying, well, I don't really care about spawn peeking. What I really care about, my real frustration, is when people like execute a strategy where they have like four people running outside trying to trap us outside and not let us get to the building. It's gonna take a second here. That's the same thing. They're still exposing themselves, even if they're doing it in an organized fashion. Like you should be able to handle that.
Well, talking about Rook there, as far as being, I've always thought Doc was an excellent spawn peeker as well because he can
Oh
take
yeah.
damage, heal himself,
Well,
and
my main thing with Doc is like as opposed to Rook is if you die spawn peeking as a Doc, then you just lost like a fuck ton of HP for your team.
right,
Like so much potential HP just gone. If you die as a Rook, well, I mean, you already put down your armor, right? Okay, you're
sure,
good.
sure. Um, all right. So, do you think, just for me personally, this is KiXSTAR's tip for me.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself running open sights or hollow or reflex on Bandit? Because I love his open sights.
I mean, just yeah, the iron sights are
Yeah.
fine. They're really good. Probably one of the best sights in the game in terms of low zoom. I'll probably run like a reflex though. I'm
Okay.
not sure yet. All the sights are really good. I mean, any one of them will do for me, you know. I don't really mind. I'll take it, whichever one.
All right. So, talking about the new map a little bit. What do you think about it? Is there a map in the game currently that you could compare it to?
Somewhat, it's like border but huge. So
Wow.
let me talk about that for a second. That actually might not be a good thing. So if you guys have any like serious experience on Border, you'll know that the bottom floor doesn't get utilized very much. Like it does, but not nearly as much as the top floor. The top floor is where most of the action goes down, whether or not you're defending the top floor. Talk about a customs defense for a second. Custom defense is done entirely from CCTV. Ventilation defense is done from a lot of teams entirely from armory. Like not exclusively, sure. There's variation there, but it's still most of the time the defenders are upstairs, also the attackers. Like that's where the focus is. This new map is the same thing. Like the bottom floor is almost ignored half the time. Now I want to see how it's actually going to play out. You know, like in terms of where like the best bombs, the best two bomb sites, what those are going to be, because we don't know yet. But and we'll find out in due time. It could be on the bottom floor for all we know. But I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the same thing as Border, where everyone's spending the majority of their time on the top floor, whether they are attackers or defenders, because just that's where the tactical advantage lies. There's also a lot of reachability too, vertically and horizontally, like just in general. So. Yeah, it's huge. It's ginormous. It's one of the bigger maps that we have, I think, in the game right now. And that actually, I think, is going to be a hindrance, for the Pro League. But who knows? We'll find out.
Is the theme of it pretty cool? Because I think some people have been concerned. They don't want to see this game go too cartoony, and I
I
think
don't, I don't give a shit about the theme, the cartoony like that whole conversation. Literally something that I don't, I have no opinions on. I don't care. Like the skins. Okay, sure. Oh no, it's too cartoony of a skin and it looks really stupid. That mask. Oh, it's a clown mask. I don't care. I get the argument there, but I also just do not care. Aesthetic means nothing to me. I care about balanced gameplay.
well, from what you're saying, the map is actually very dark, and it's not like
Right.
theme park carnival style. It's more like theme
No,
park.
this is like creepy
Okay.
park shit.
Okay. So looking at this update that's coming as a whole, obviously the operators, the map, the ACOGs, everything that goes into it, all the bug fixes, lighting changes. What are your overall thoughts here? What's your mindset right now?
My mindset is for the last month, I have had trouble playing Siege because of it. It's just stagnant, it's stale, and more importantly, it's a shitty. Like where it is right now is just shitty. God, it is bad. Like I had a match. You know what actually made me finally decide that I didn't want to play Siege like until the new update came out? It was a couple days ago. I was streaming. I got Bartlett on my main right after playing. What was it? I think it was Favelas. Shit, I
Uh,
don't remember. It was one of the shitty maps. I played one of the shitty maps and I played all the way through. And then I got Bartlett, and I was like, "No, what? No, I'm not doing this," and I left. I straight up left. And, oh no, toxic KiXSTAr. Yeah, sure, sure, sure. I was having a bad day. It was a long bad day. I had played. That was actually like my third shitty map in a row. Like I've been doing it for a long time. Anyway, I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'll get on my Smurf. Right? I'm just sick of this. I'm done. I didn't say a word. I just did it. And then I get on my Smurf. I load up. I queue into ranked, and oh look at that, I got Bartlett again on my Smurf. So I'm Bartlett. So Bartlett twice in a row, and then like House and Favelas previously. It's just nothing but garbage maps the whole way through. And then there's the fucking lighting being garbage. There's so many problems, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done playing. I'll just wait for the update. Because the update is supposed, like from what I can see, the update is the great redeemer. It's what everything we wanted and more. And I don't want to spoil that. Like, that's another thing. Coming off of playing the new update at LAN. Like now I'm home. I just got back to Catto Eats and I'm just chilling. And I can't play Siege. You wanna know why? It's because I don't want to spoil how good I felt about Siege after playing the new update. I don't want to fucking ruin that, man. Like it's so quality. And I don't have to play Bartlett ever again. So that's great.
The word you use there, quality, is one of the best things that I could possibly hear about this new update. That's exciting to hear.
Well, the main thing, the pinch of salt, because quality on the LAN build doesn't equal necessarily quality on the online build. We still have to find out. Like, because that's another thing. And the LAN build, everyone's playing with 1 or 2 ping, which that's a new revelation, by the way, because in previous LAN builds, it was like 30. But in this current LAN build that they were using at this tournament, 1 ping for every motherfucker. It was amazing.
But
yeah,
it
was a whole new way of playing the game.
That was true with the pros in their matches as well, correct? So
like for previous LAN builds?
No. In this LAN. Like
I can't tell you because I didn't play in any of the pro matches.
Okay. I didn't know if it had to do with this build, this update, or if it was just something that was going on there at Gamescom that they had set up a little differently that affected the ping. But well, that's awesome, man.
I think it's the new LAN build that's coming with the update. But
okay,
I actually no, I think I might have talked to Justin about it. I think he actually said that they actually do have the new like LAN build in terms of ping and all that for the LAN players. So I think at the Pro League, yeah. Might have been everyone playing with all 1 ping, which is awesome. Like in previous LANs, we've had, for example, I think the last like season 1, year 2 season 1 finals. I'm pretty sure everyone was playing with like 100 ping, so like it was not good, not ideal.
You mentioned earlier, in the very beginning, that you think that this kind of shows that Ubisoft is ready to like make some tough decisions in order to make this game better. What do you think this says about the direction of the game? Do you think they're going into a more competitive direction? Do you think it's just them kind of recognizing that that's the most important direction for this game? What do you think this update says about them?
I'd say that they're getting a good sense of how to balance the game, and what really needs to be done to make it a real esport. And I know a lot of people don't want that, and this is really interesting because a lot of people are like, no, I don't really want this game to be an esport. I don't give a shit. But in my opinion, like being an esport fanatic, this is the right way to go. And that's another thing. So, for example, let's talk about Counter-Strike for a second.
Sure.
Counter-Strike is a game that even the casual players are playing it competitively in a sense, right? The focus is still kind of the same direction. And I think this is Rainbow Six Siege kind of going in that same direction. Is like, even if you're a casual, you're still going to be like learning things and getting better and trying to improve, as opposed to what we've had for a long time, which is just, hey, if you're a casual, you know what you're doing, you're just fucking about. And that's fun, and it's still doable. That's another thing. They're not killing that. It's still doable in casual. Go play casual. But it's forcing you to play casual as a casual now, instead of as a casual playing ranked, which is ideal.
Yeah, I think that's exciting. And I think if you look at like player retention and you mentioned Counter-Strike, what's made that game still popular as it is today isn't, awesome graphics or anything like that. It's the highly competitive nature and how people get addicted to that. and they keep coming back and back and back because they want to be competitive like that. So there is a lot of people playing Rainbow right now that may be playing it casual. If we get them into that competitive mindset, then I think they'll continue playing this game for 3, 4, 5 years instead of just
Yeah, it'll improve
you know.
longevity for sure.
So I'm excited to see this, and I hope that has the effect that you're talking about there. I think it will. I think this is definitely a step in the right direction from everything I'm hearing from you and everybody else. So real quick here, we've got to talk about the LAN you were just at, the Season 2 finals. Congratulations to Penta for winning that championship. I mean, what are your thoughts there from that tournament?
Well, just like in general, the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, what do you take away from that? Just an overall thoughts from the tournament there.
Okay. All of the teams are a lot more professional than they used to be. And it was a high level of competition there was higher than something we've ever seen before.
Wow.
And it is every single LAN. No, every single LAN. It gets better and better. And this is just, again, another huge step above the last one. And one main thing is I want to talk about Penta, just in general. Like,
sure.
Penta, from what I see from them, have a bit of a 3-tier system going on. That's like every tier of this system is like perfect. Now let's talk. So at the top, they've got Shaz, who's the coach, who organizes like everything for the team. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to get like you should ask him really, because it's his business, and I don't want to invade. Like I don't want to share any of his secrets or anything. But he puts in so much work. That's a main thing. Like that I could say is like Shaz puts in so much fucking work as the coach. And if it weren't for him, I don't know if the team would be in the same spot. Then you have Fabian, who's in the second tier, right? Who's their IGL, who like puts in who keeps the team centered and focused on actually like getting that win and doing what needs to be done. And then you have everybody else. The third tier is like just incredibly high skill level, just incredibly high skill level. And I think if any one of those factors didn't exist, then it wouldn't be Penta. It would be the team that just dominated as much as they did this LAN.
Interesting to hear you mention the coach here, because you don't hear a lot of people talk about that. And
well, that's the thing is like other teams coaches. There's some good coaches out there, very useful coaches out there. None of them are doing what Shaz does. And I'm not going to talk about what Shaz does because it's his business. But all I'll say is he puts in more work than anyone I've ever seen.
Okay. Is there a team from this LAN that surprised you?
Elevate did really well. BRK. Okay, so Elevate surprised me for the better. Rogue and Font disappointed me in a surprise. Yeah, they surprised me in the disappointment factor. Like I was expecting Rogue to do better. There was a lot going on in Rogue though, like Young's leaving and they knew about Young leaving before the LAN. And let me just say, I have firsthand experience with that because Young was leaving my team before we played Season 2 finals in year 1. Season 2 finals, Troy and Young were going to leave. We knew before we got to the finals that they were going to leave. We were not enthusiastic about playing in that finals. We were just kind of half-assing it. Right. That's why we went into the finals against Youngtis. There was no chance we were going to win that because they were focused. They were ready to win. And we were like, well, 2 of our guys are dipping after this, and there's no comms going on right now. We're just kind of like disoriented and not really thinking about this LAN at all. It's the same thing for Rogue. They got that wrench thrown into their plans. Plus, the whole organization thing, like VG, like that. A lot of people are going to be like, huh, what does that really matter, right? It's just an organization changing. That doesn't change anything. No. VG was like they were in the process of moving into a house, and then oh shit, that house doesn't exist. Like that through they lost like 20 days of practice because of that shit. But right before LAN, so Rogue had a rough go of it. I don't know what happened with Font, but I was really expecting them to make it to the finals. I have to be honest. I really did think that they had it. BRK too. Like I didn't think BRK was going to lose the Elevate. I was surprised there. And then also for Elevate, they made it way farther than I thought they would. But in the end, it all came down to Penta, and I think yeah, Penta won as we expected Penta to win. As I talked about, they are the most like the way to describe Penta right now is just in one word, professional. They're the most professional team we have right now. All of the players are extremely dedicated, but it's dedication on every level. They have no Like everything they do is just refined. And I know that might sound like just sucking Penta's dick, but it's not that. It's me saying that they are where no one else is right now, and they like Penta. What they're doing is the future. It's where we need to find the rest of these teams leading down the line. Otherwise, we'll never have serious organizations involved in this game. We'll never have huge, prize pools in other tournaments outside of ESL. If we don't get more Pentas involved.
I would have loved to have seen mid-season Vertical Gaming versus Penta. I felt like, in my opinion, those were
Yeah.
my top two teams going into this before all the organization changes and everything for Vertical that went down. I would have loved to have seen that matchup. I think that, well, actually, I'll take that back. I thought BRK had a really good chance of beating Penta as well, but I was surprised as you were that Elevate was able to take BRK out. I was happy to see it. Obviously, I was rooting for my NA boys, but I tell you what isn't mentioned here that neither of us are surprised about, but that we might want to talk about is the fact that Excellence lost to Penta. I mean,
Oh God.
do you think any other matchup would Excellence have won that, or what do you think there?
No.
Okay.
So Excellence had a lot of internal strife that I heard about, like the players with each other. That's what I was being told. Plus, and this, I hate to say this because it is shitty to say, but all of the players well, not all of the players, the majority of the players on Excellence, I think 4 out of 5, when they're playing online, they have 120 ping, which is very much different than LAN. Like that is like the whole like playing the game is entirely separate. 120 ping to like LAN. And you don't want to say onliners, but it's also a lack of experience. Like none of the players on Excellence have ever been to a LAN event ever. So like for Siege at least that I know of. So yeah, I don't know. There was a lot going against Excellence at this LAN. Same as Rogue,
Yeah.
I mean, also they're going up against Penta, with the most experienced team that we have right. Well, not the most experienced. I guess ENCE technically is, but one of the most experienced teams that we have, and definitely the top team that Siege has as a whole.
Clearly, you're excited about the changes. Did you get any sense from the pros that they're excited as well, or the people you talked to there?
Pretty much everyone's universally excited for this next update. I remember I had a couple situations where I was saying 2.2.2 is either going to make or break the game. Well, this is the make it. Like this update is the make it. And I think there was a little bit of a misconception for a lot of people, including myself, where we were expecting Operation Health to have all this crap that we're getting right now. So like this next update, yeah, everyone is universally excited for it, and it is the Great Redeemer. I would describe it as the Great Redeemer.
Well, that's awesome to hear and really encouraging. And thanks so much for taking the time to sit down with me. I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about this new update, the operators and everything. I think you answered a lot of those questions. I know me personally, I have a much better picture of what this is all going to look at. And like you said, you never really know how everything's going to shake out until you get hands-on and see how everybody interacts with everything. But
Right.
definitely I have a much better understanding. So thank you so much, KiXSTAr, for sitting down with me and explaining this to your viewers, my viewers, everybody. I think really appreciates your perspective on this.
Yeah, thanks, GetFlanked, for helping me out with it as well.
No problem. And with that said, I think we're going to sign off here. You got anything else you want to add?
Nope. Just thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, good on you. It's good to know that there are people who are as interested in the Rainbow Six Siege community as whoever managed to make it all the way.
All right, guys. So with that said, we are going to sign off. We will talk to you guys later.